My child, stop right now wherever you are. Do not scroll past this message. Heaven has set an invisible clock for this exact second, and you were brought here for a sacred encounter. I see the heavy darkness pressing against your chest today. You are terrified that everything you worked so hard to build is slipping away from your hands. You keep asking yourself one painful question over and over again. Why am I losing everything? You look at your finances, your health, and your relationships with a trembling heart. You wonder why every single door seems to slam shut right in your face. And while you wear a smile to keep everyone else comfortable during the day, you collapse under the crushing weight of fear when the room grows quiet at night. Hear my voice in this quiet space right now. I am crying with you in this storm. My tears are not tears of weakness or defeat. I see your hidden pain, and I am weeping today because I watched you carry heavy burdens that were never meant for your shoulders while you quietly suffered alone in the dark. You felt completely abandoned in the fire, but I was standing right beside you through every painful moment. You thought you were losing your life. You thought your entire future was destroyed forever. But what you called a tragic loss was actually my active protection over your soul. I was stripping away the hidden traps that were set to ruin your destiny. And I was clearing the ground so I could build something eternal. What felt like a total breakdown was actually the beginning of your divine breakthrough. Do not walk away from this holy moment. Stay right here with me for these next few minutes. I am about to unveil a sacred secret that will rescue everything you thought was lost in the storm. The long season of crushing delay is ending right now. I am placing the key of your complete restoration directly into your hands, and your life will never be the same again. I know the exact moment the house goes completely dark and quiet. You lie awake in the stillness of the night while the rest of the world is fast asleep. Your eyes stare at the ceiling for hours. And as the silence grows deeper around you, your mind instantly turns into a terrifying battlefield where every single fear comes crashing in at once. You replay every mistake you ever made. You calculate numbers that never seem to add up. You wonder how you will survive tomorrow. You have carried this heavy load for far too long without a single moment of rest. Every morning, you get out of bed with a tired soul. You put on a warm smile like a heavy piece of armor before you walk out the door. You make sure everyone around you feels safe, supported, and comforted by your presence. You listen to their problems attentively. You solve their crises with patience. But not a single person ever stops to ask how your heart is actually doing. They look at you and see a pillar of strength. They think you have everything under control because you never complain out loud. But behind that brave smile, your spirit is quietly bleeding out from exhaustion. You are giving away pieces of yourself to keep everyone else whole, while you are quietly falling apart inside. You feel like a boat taking on water in the middle of a massive ocean with no rescue ship in sight. I watched you in those desperate moments when you thought nobody was looking. I saw you sitting in your car after work with tears running down your face before you wiped them away to enter your house. I felt the sharp pain in your chest when you received that terrifying bill or that painful news. And while you were holding back your screams so you would not frighten your family, I was leaning close to catch every tear that hit the floor. The hardest part of this storm is the terrifying feeling of powerlessness. You used to feel confident and capable in your decisions. You worked hard and tried your best to do everything right before my eyes. But now, it feels as though an invisible hand is constantly pulling the rug out from under your feet. You reach out to hold on to your finances, but the money drains away faster than you can earn it. You try so hard to protect your relationships, but misunderstandings and sudden betrayals keep tearing them apart. You try to fix your health, but your body feels constantly drained by endless stress and anxiety. It feels as if everything you love is slipping through your fingers like fine sand on a windy beach. And no matter how tightly you close your fist to save what remains, you cannot stop the painful loss. I hear the silent panic rising in your chest every single time you look at your bank account or your empty hands. You feel a deep shame that whispers lies into your ears throughout the day. The enemy tells you that you have failed your family. He whispers that you are a disappointment to everyone who trusted you. And he insists that your current struggle is proof that your life is completely over. You look at other people moving forward so smoothly in their lives, and you wonder what you did wrong to end up here. You wonder if I am angry with you for past mistakes. You wonder if my favor has departed from your lineage forever. And in those dark midnight hours, you begin to fear that you will lose your home, your reputation, and your entire future before this long year comes to an end. Let me speak directly into that deep wound right now, my precious child. Lower your defenses in my presence. You do not have to perform for me. You do not need to wear that heavy armor when you step into my presence. I do not love you because of how well you handle the storm, nor do I judge you because your knees are trembling under this unbearable weight. I know you are exhausted from being the strong one for everybody else. I know you are tired of pretending that you are not scared out of your mind. I see the sacrifice you made when you put your own dreams on hold just to care for the people you love. And I want you to know today that your private tears were never a sign of weak faith or spiritual failure in my eyes. Your heartbreak mattered to me every single second you suffered in silence. When you felt completely isolated in that dark room, my angels were surrounding your bed to guard your breath. When you thought you were completely alone in your despair, my hands were holding your fragile spirit together so you would not shatter into pieces. You survived nights that should have broken your mind completely. You kept moving forward with trembling hands and tears in your eyes when quitting would have been so much easier for you. That was not weakness on your part. That was holy endurance, pushing through the darkness. You passed through the fire without realizing that I was keeping the flames from consuming your soul. And now, the heavy season of silently carrying everyone else on your broken back is coming to a final close. You do not have to fix everything on your own anymore. You were never created to bear the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. Lay down that heavy shield today. Let your heart breathe deeply in my presence, because the Father who sees your hidden battles is stepping directly into the fight on your behalf. Hear me clearly as this sacred truth settles deep into your soul. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not forgotten in the wilderness. And before this holy encounter is finished today, you will see exactly why I permitted this fierce wind to blow against your life. My child, listen to me very carefully right now. You look back at the past few months with deep confusion and pain in your soul. You wonder why my voice felt so silent when the storm reached its absolute highest peak. You begged me to intervene. You asked me to save that opportunity, that relationship, or that business venture. And yet, despite all your earnest prayers, you watched those doors slam shut one by one until you had nothing left to hold on to. You interpreted that sudden loss as a terrible sign of my anger toward you. You thought I was punishing you for something you did wrong in your past. You assumed that your failure was proof that you were no longer favored by heaven. But I am stepping into your life today to completely shatter that toxic lie. What you called a devastating loss was actually my active protection over your future. You saw a beautiful destination ahead of you, but I saw the hidden trap buried deep beneath the surface of that path. You saw a person who promised to love and support you forever, but I saw the secret betrayal waiting to destroy your spirit 5 years down the road. You saw a financial deal that looked like an easy answer to your problems, but I saw a trap that would have bound your entire lineage in endless debt. I had to step into your path with sovereign power. I had to close those doors before you walked through them and lost your entire soul. I pulled those toxic people out of your life because they were silently poisoning the soil of your destiny. And while you were weeping over what felt like an unfair rejection, I was actively redirecting your steps toward a higher mountain. What felt like cruel rejection from the world was actually my divine selection in disguise. I refused to let you settle for scraps when I had a royal table prepared for you in eternity. The silence you experienced was not a sign of my absence. A loving father does not abandon his child when the road gets rough. The silence was my quiet confidence as I watched you pass through a necessary doorway of transformation. Think about the builder who plans to construct a massive tower. He does not build on loose dirt or decayed foundations. He must first bring in heavy machinery to dig up the soft ground, clear away the old debris, and shatter the weak rocks. To an outside observer, it looks like pure destruction and chaos. It looks as though the land is being ruined beyond all repair. But the builder knows exactly what he is doing with every single strike. He is clearing space for a foundation that can hold immense weight for decades to come. That is precisely what I have been doing in your life during this intense season of stripping away. I stripped away the false security you relied on so you would learn to anchor your soul in my unshakable truth. I removed the counterfeit blessings that were keeping you comfortable in a small place. You were holding on to copper because you did not realize I was preparing to hand you pure gold. You were clinging to a temporary house when I was preparing a permanent palace for your lineage. Stop looking backward at the burning fields you left behind with regret and sorrow. Those things had to burn, so they would no longer hold you captive to your past. I am sealing this revelation deep within your heart at this exact instant. Seal this truth in your spirit today by inscribing these exact words in the comments right now. Write, I accept your divine protection over my life and feel the heavy weight of regret completely lift off your chest. Speak those words with firm confidence into the spiritual atmosphere around you. When you align your mouth with my truth, the spirit of fear loses its grip over your mind. You begin to see your past losses through the eyes of heaven instead of the eyes of despair. You realize that you did not lose everything in the storm. You were actually spared from a disaster you could not see. You thought the fire was sent to consume your strength and destroy your legacy, but the refiner only uses heat to separate the pure gold from the useless dross. He stands right beside the furnace, leaning in with intense focus, until he can see his own clear reflection in the molten metal. You were never being destroyed in that furnace. You were being prepared for a glory that your past could never hold. Every tear you cried became a seed planted in the soil of eternity. Every night of suffering deepened your capacity to hold the massive harvest that is coming your way. The world measured your season by what was subtracted from your account, but heaven measured your season by what was being multiplied inside your character. Every single thing that was removed from your hands was taken for a holy purpose. Not a single drop of your effort was wasted in my sight. The enemy intended to use those closed doors to drive you into total bitterness and unbelief. He wanted you to curse my name and walk away from your calling in total defeat. But his evil plot has completely backfired against him today, because instead of destroying your faith, the wilderness has stripped away your illusions. You are standing here today with a heart that is lighter, clearer, and more resilient than ever before. You no longer rely on the fragile applause of the crowd to know your true worth. You are learning to trust the steady hand of the Father who holds the whole universe together. Hold your head high in my presence right now, my precious child. The season of mourning over what was lost is officially over. What I am about to place into your open hands in this coming chapter will make the pain of your past look like a tiny shadow in the morning light. Stay close to my voice as we step into the next phase of your divine unveiling. There is a deeper secret I must reveal to you before this sacred encounter concludes today. It is the hidden truth about the intense furnace you walked through when the fire burned the hottest. But why did I allow the storm to touch your finances? The answer will cause your spirit to leap with sudden joy as the mysteries of heaven are laid plain before your eyes. You look at the deep scars on your soul and you feel broken into 1,000 pieces. You feel as though your spirit was shattered by the sheer weight of this endless trial. But hear my voice clearly in this quiet hour. You are not broken down in that brutal furnace. You are actually being broken open so that the holy oil placed deep inside your spirit could finally overflow into the world. Think of the alabaster jar that held the most precious perfume in the ancient kingdom. As long as that beautiful jar remained sealed and whole, the fragrance inside remained trapped within its thick walls. No one in the room could ever smell its richness or feel its value. But the very moment that jar was crushed open, the entire house was filled with an overwhelming and glorious aroma that transformed the atmosphere. That is precisely what was happening to you while you were walking through the dark valley. The world saw a soul being destroyed by pain, lack, and humiliation. But heaven saw a precious vessel being broken open so that the deep anointing could shine through your spirit. The hardships did not come to end your story. They came to release a divine strength inside you that you never knew existed. I know you wondered why I did not pull you out of the fire the exact second you cried out for relief. You asked me why a loving father would allow his precious child to weep through such long and agony-filled nights. You wondered if I was sitting high on a throne with an unfeeling heart while you suffered. And today I want to show you the deep beating heart of your Creator. Every single time a tear rolled down your cheek in that quiet room, my heart grieved with an indescribable pain. Every time your chest tightened with overwhelming anxiety, I felt the sharp sting of your sorrow deep within my own spirit. I wept with you in that dark furnace. I cried because I love you with an everlasting passion, and seeing you suffer broke my heart into pieces. My tears were not tears of weakness or confusion. My tears were born from the deep compassion of a father who holds his child close during a painful surgical operation. I saw the severe pain you were enduring on the table, but I also knew that the operation was the only way to remove the lethal poison that was threatening your eternal destiny. Yet I could not pull you out of the fire 1 second too early. A master goldsmith stands right beside the blazing furnace, watching the molten liquid with absolute intensity. He sees the raw gold suffering under the scorching heat. His heart feels tenderness for the metal. But if he pulls the gold out of the flames prematurely, the dross and impurities will remain trapped inside forever. The gold will remain weak, brittle, and completely unfit for the royal crown. He must wait patiently until the intense heat burns away every single impurity, until he can lean over the fire and see his own clear face reflected on the smooth surface. I held back my hand from stopping the fire because I saw the glorious version of you that was waiting to emerge from the ashes. If I had rescued you from the test before it was complete, you would have entered your future carrying the same old vulnerabilities that held you back in the past. You would have trusted in fragile human strength instead of divine power. You would have built your dreams on shifting sand instead of solid rock. I allowed the fire to burn hot so that every chain of fear, codependency, and self-doubt would be melted away forever. Look at the great men and women of faith who walked before you in the sacred scriptures. Moses spent 40 long years in the quiet desert before he was ready to part the massive sea and lead a nation to freedom. Joseph was thrown into a dark pit and locked in a lonely prison before he was raised up to rule over an empire. David was hunted in wilderness caves before he wore the royal crown of Israel. Not a single one of them was birthed in comfort or ease. Every single champion of heaven was forged in the heat of a fierce wilderness. The wilderness was never your punishment, my child. It was your holy academy. It was the private training ground where your hands learned how to hold spiritual authority without growing arrogant or proud. You went through days that felt completely endless and nights that pressed down so heavily you could barely catch your breath. The enemy whispered that you were forgotten, useless, and completely defeated. You could have closed your heart in total bitterness. You could have cursed my name and decided that faith was a lie. But despite the overwhelming pain, you kept holding on to my promises with trembling hands and a weary soul. That quiet endurance was the most beautiful sacrifice heaven has ever witnessed. You passed the test, my beloved child. You passed the hardest trial of your life, the one you did not even know you were taking. The refining work is now complete. The dross has been separated from the pure metal, and my royal reflection is shining brightly through your eyes today. Stop looking at your wilderness season as a graveyard of dead dreams and wasted years. The wilderness was never a place of death for you. It was a holy womb where your true spiritual authority was being birthed in secret. Every loss you suffered prepared you to carry a weight of glory that would have crushed the person you used to be 2 years ago. You carry true anointing now because you know what it feels like to bleed in the dark. You carry true wisdom now because you survived the darkest night of the soul. You carry real authority over the enemy because you faced his fierce storms and remained standing unbroken in my grace. The season of burning is behind you, and the hour of your public elevation is standing directly at the door. Feel the sudden shift taking place in the spiritual realm right over your head at this very moment. The heavy smoke of the furnace is clearing away from your path. The scorching heat is turning into a gentle and refreshing rain of my holy presence. Breathe in my peace deeply, because you will never have to walk through that specific furnace ever again. Now, open your spiritual eyes to see what lies directly ahead in your next chapter. There is a second seal I must address before this holy encounter ends. The seal over your divine identity and your relationships. I'm about to show you who actually walked away from your life and why I personally pruned those toxic branches from your path. Listen to me very clearly right now, my child. The enemy has spent months feeding poison into your thoughts, whispering that you are a helpless victim of circumstance. He tried to brand your soul with counterfeit labels of failure, abandonment, and permanent defeat. He wanted you to believe that you were permanently broken by the storms of life. I dismantle every single one of those fake labels right now with the power of my word. You are not a helpless victim surviving the wreckage of a broken life. You are a royal heir to the kingdom of heaven. You are a chosen one, set apart before the foundations of the world were ever laid. The blood of eternity runs through your spiritual veins, and the authority of my throne rests upon your shoulders. Stop looking down at the dust of your past as if you belong to the dirt. Lift your head right now and look at the crown of grace I have placed upon your spirit. You carry an authentic anointing that no human being can ever manufacture or take away from you. The battles you survived only prove the immense power living inside your chest. You prove that what surrounds you in the world does not get to decide what comes out of your heart. You are a mighty warrior of faith. And now I need to talk to you about the people who walked away from your life when the pressure reached its peak. I know how deeply those sudden departures hurt your feelings. You gave them your loyalty, your kindness, and your absolute best years. You stood by their side through their own dark valleys. Yet when your own storm hit hard, they turned around, slammed the door, and became the source of your deepest wounds. You wondered why your loyalty was met with such cold betrayal. You blamed yourself for their departure, thinking you were not good enough to make them stay. But I want to open your spiritual eyes to the absolute truth of that painful separation. Their departure was not your failure. It was my active and deliberate pruning. Just like a skilled gardener prunes the dead branches off a magnificent grapevine to ensure a massive harvest, I had to cut away those toxic relationships from your life. Those people were never meant to travel into your next chapter. Their hearts were too small, their faith was too shallow, and their hidden envy was too dangerous for the altitude where I am taking you. If I had allowed them to stay in your life, they would have held you back in the mud of mediocrity forever. They would have drained your remaining energy and whispered doubt into your ears every time you tried to rise. So I lovingly pruned them away from your path. I cleared out the old crowd to make absolute room for divine connections. I am bringing people into your life who match the new frequency of your spirit. You are about to walk shoulder to shoulder with men and women of authentic faith who will honor the calling placed upon your lineage. They will celebrate your victories instead of envying your progress. They will hold your arms up when you are tired instead of pushing you down into the pit. Do not shed another tear over the ones who chose to walk out of your story when the winter winds started blowing. They served their temporary purpose in the outer court, but they do not qualify to enter the inner palace of your destiny. Let them go with a heart of complete peace, because their absence is the exact reason your path is finally clear for greatness. Look around you in this holy hour and see how much space has opened up in your spirit. The heavy baggage of other people, toxic opinions, has been thrown off your back forever. You no longer need the approval of people who could not even recognize the gold shining inside your soul. You are approved by the Creator of the universe. And because you have accepted your true identity as a royal heir, your entire perspective on provision is shifting. You are no longer operating from a place of desperate lack or frantic survival. You are stepping into the spacious place of inheritance, where all the resources of heaven are standing ready to back up your steps. The season of shrinking is officially over, my precious child. I have expanded your territory in the unseen realm, and the physical manifestations of that expansion are about to flood into your reality. Keep your heart pure, keep your armor shining, and keep your eyes fixed firmly upon my face. There is a massive breakthrough waiting just behind the veil of this very moment. Prepare your heart for the ultimate manifestation of my power, because the sacred climax of your journey is about to unfold before your eyes right now. The spiritual atmosphere over your life is shifting right now. Something massive is moving in the unseen realm at this exact instant. The long night of waiting is coming to a dramatic close. And the heavens are opening wide, directly over your head, while the voice of the Creator speaks with absolute authority over your destiny today. Hear my decree as it reverberates through the spiritual realm. The season of dry wilderness is officially finished for you. The long chapter of humiliation, sorrow, and endless struggle is coming to an end right now. I step into your battle today with divine power, and I shatter every dark barrier that kept your life bound in captivity for years. I break the first dark seal over your life right now. I break the seal of paralyzing fear, trauma, and constant loss. For months, the spirit of panic whispered that you were going to lose everything you loved. It kept you awake at night and crippled your courage during the day. But I command that evil spirit of decay to lose its grip over your mind and flee from your home forever. You are no longer captive to the nightmare of loss. You will not lose your mind, your health, or your family to the storm. I cover your spirit with my divine peace, and I establish a permanent shield of protection over your household. The fear that held you hostage is destroyed, and you are stepping into a spirit of bold confidence and royal peace today. I break the second dark seal over your destiny right now. I break the seal of financial lack, crushing debt, and endless scarcity. You watched your hard-earned resources drain away while every financial door slammed shut in your face. You wondered how you would survive tomorrow as the pressure mounted against your soul. But the demonic seal of poverty over your lineage is shattered into pieces right now. I unseal the hidden reservoirs of my divine supply for your life today. I command unexpected streams of income, miraculous debts cleared, and doors of sudden opportunity to open for you right now. You will no longer beg for scraps at the table of the world. You are stepping into a season of overflow, where you will have more than enough to fulfill your purpose and bless generations to come. I break the third dark seal over your soul right now. I break the seal of toxic betrayal, isolation, and emotional heartbreak. The enemy used unfaithful people to wound your heart and leave you bleeding in the dark. He tried to make you believe that you were unlovable and destined to walk this earth completely alone. But I destroy every chain of rejection and loneliness off your life at this exact instant. I am replacing the painful memories of betrayal with genuine honor and covenant connections. I bring righteous people into your life who will respect your calling and protect your heart with loyalty. The people who sought to destroy your reputation will watch you rise in glory from a distance. The season of being exploited by toxic hands is over, and your soul is restored to complete wholeness. Listen to the sound of my victory shout over your future. The wilderness season is over. The dry ground under your feet is springing forth with living waters of joy and restoration. What the enemy stole from you in the dark will be returned to your hands sevenfold in the light. Every single year eaten by the locusts of delay is being restored to your lineage right now. I am releasing a double portion of my favor over your life today. Where there was embarrassment and shame, I am placing a crown of royal honor upon your head. Where there was constant weakness, I am filling your spirit with unstoppable authority and divine power. You are stepping out of the shadows of defeat and walking straight into the fulfillment of your highest destiny. Stand tall right now, my precious child. Raise your hands in total victory, because the battle has already been won on your behalf. The enemy thought he had you trapped in a corner with no way out. He laughed as he watched you weep in the furnace, but he did not realize that the fire was only burning away your chains so you could walk out of the furnace completely free. Every weapon formed against your health, your mind, and your wealth is broken into pieces right now. No curse, no secret plot, and no spiritual warfare can stand against the decree I have spoken over your life today. The darkness is retreating, the heavy fog is lifting, and the bright light of my glory is flooding into every corner of your life right now. Claim your breakthrough with absolute boldness in this sacred hour. Do not look back at the ruins of yesterday with fear or doubt. Step forward with your head lifted high, because the Father who commands the stars in the sky is walking right beside you into your season of abundance and peace. I decree over your home that peace will reign in your rooms from this night forward. The heavy cloud of depression that hung over your family is dissolved into nothingness by my holy presence. You will hear laughter echoing in your hallways again. You will sleep in deep, undisturbed peace, knowing that my angels are standing guard at every door and window of your dwelling. The doors that were locked against your career and your ministry are swinging wide open right now. I am bringing your name before key people who have the power to elevate your work to new heights. You will not have to strive or manipulate or compromise your integrity to succeed. My divine favor will go before you like a golden key, opening doors that no human being can ever shut. Look at your hands right now and see that they are no longer tied by the ropes of delay. You are holding the keys of freedom, authority, and restoration. What took others 40 years to accomplish, I will do in your life in a single season of sudden acceleration. The speed of my restoration will stun those who doubted you and leave your enemies in total confusion. The decree is sealed in the highest courts of heaven today. Nothing in the spiritual realm and nothing on this earth can reverse the blessing that has been released over your soul in this holy hour. Walk with the dignity of a royal heir who knows that their father owns the entire universe. Your time of weeping is finished, and your hour of triumph has officially begun. Look at your physical hands right now in this quiet moment. For months, you have been holding your hands in a tight, clenched fist. You held on so tightly because you were terrified of losing the few scraps that remained in your life. A clenched fist is a heart operating from the deep fear of lack and scarcity. But a clenched fist can never receive the royal overflow that heaven is pouring down today. I am inviting you to make a profound spiritual shift right where you sit. Open your hands wide before my presence. Turn your palms upward toward the heavens as a sacred, prophetic act. An open hand demonstrates absolute trust in the Father who owns every mountain, every river, and every treasure in existence. And when you open your hand today, you declare with boldness that you are no longer a slave to fear. You are stepping out of the survival mindset of the wilderness. As a royal heir, you do not need to clutch desperately to the dust of yesterday. You walk in the unshakable confidence that your divine supply is infinite and eternal. And by opening your hands in this holy moment, you release the toxic anxiety that kept your soul trapped in a prison of constant worry for so long. You let go of the desperate need to control every single outcome on your own. To keep this powerful current of breakthrough flowing without interruption, I require one simple act of obedience from you right now. Do not hesitate or let doubt whisper in your ear. Place a seed of faith upon the stone altar of this holy calling. Release a physical sign of your trust into the spiritual atmosphere today. When you release a seed in faith, you are not losing a portion of your precious supply. You are actually planting a sacred anchor directly into the rich harvest I have prepared for your family. A farmer does not weep when he casts his precious grain into the dark soil. He releases it with joy because he knows that one single seed will return as a massive field of golden wheat. Open your hand wide today and let go of the fear of lack once and for all. Watch how quickly the windows of heaven open up over a heart that dares to trust my word. I am unsealing the hidden reservoirs of divine provision that were set aside for your lineage before the world began. And what you release in willing obedience today will move ahead into your future and multiply sevenfold across every area of your life. The spirit of poverty is broken off your hands, and the blessing of Abraham is resting upon your work. Seal this holy covenant deep within your spirit right now with a bold declaration of faith. Speak these exact words out loud with authority into the atmosphere around you. Declare with a firm voice right now, I am free from the spirit of loss and decay. Speak it again until every cell in your body resonates with the absolute truth of your liberation. Feel the heavy chains of anxiety shattering into dust around your feet. When you speak my words back to me, you align your mouth with the decree of heaven. The adversary flees in terror when he hears a royal heir declaring their freedom with unshakable boldness. You are no longer defined by the dry seasons of scarcity you walked through in the past. You are defined by the abundance of the kingdom that is flooding your spirit at this very second. Your step of faith today is activating a spiritual law that can never be broken by any force on earth. The seed you plant in trust will sprout into magnificent trees of righteousness that shade your children for generations to come. You will look back at this exact day as the divine turning point where the tide of loss was turned back forever. Every storehouse that was empty will be filled to overflowing with fine grain and fresh oil. Stand firm in this new atmosphere of freedom and divine favor. Do not let the enemy tempt you to close your fist back up in fear when you step away from this sacred encounter. Walk with your palms open and your head lifted high every single day. You are a vessel of honor, chosen to display the glory and richness of my kingdom to a watching world. The seed has been sown, the covenant has been sealed, and the harvest is ripening rapidly in the fields of eternity. Breathe in the sweet fragrance of my peace that is filling your home right now. You have moved from the exhausting place of striving into the spacious place of effortless receiving. Your hands are clean, your spirit is free, and your breakthrough is fully established today. Look toward tomorrow with eager expectation and joyful hope in your heart. The days of struggling for scraps are completely behind you forever. You are stepping into the fullness of your royal inheritance with authority and unstoppable power. Every promise I have spoken over your life is coming to pass with sudden clarity and overwhelming beauty. Hold fast to the freedom you have claimed in this holy hour. Your open hands will carry gifts that will bless nations and lift up the weary souls around you. You are a living testimony of my power and my unshakable love for my children. Walk boldly into your harvest today. For the Father has given you the kingdom. The atmosphere is clear, the altar is holy, and your faith has set off a divine chain reaction in the unseen realm. Nothing can stop the momentum of the blessing that is coming your way. Rest in the absolute certainty of my word, for I am faithful to perform everything I have promised to your heart today. And now, my beloved child, take a deep, slow breath with me in this holy stillness. Feel the tight tension leaving your shoulders and your neck right now. The long battle is over, and the victory is fully won. And as you rest your weary head tonight, my divine peace is settling over your mind like a warm and protective blanket. You do not have to fight anymore. Let us join our spirits together in this sacred sealing prayer. Father, I pray over this precious child who heard your voice today. I ask that you place a divine seal over every promise, every word, and every breakthrough that was released into their life in this holy hour. Let no weapon of the enemy steal the peace that has settled deep into their spirit. I declare that the spirit of fear, lack, and loss is banished from their home forever. May your holy angels stand guard at their doors and windows throughout this night, and while they sleep in undisturbed rest, work behind the scenes to align every detail of their financial and relational restoration in total perfection. Let them wake up tomorrow with renewed strength and overflowing joy. Hear this wise counsel carefully, my child. As you step out of this holy encounter, keep this sacred revelation private in your heart for a season. Do not run out to explain your new vision to people who are still comfortable in the dark. The seed I planted inside you today is precious and embryonic, and it needs time to take deep root in the quiet soil of my presence. When you share divine secrets too early with lukewarm souls, their skepticism and hidden envy can cast unwanted noise over your growing faith. Protect your seed with holy silence for now. Let the world see the undeniable fruit of your transformation before you ever explain the fire you walked through. Your silent growth will speak louder than 1,000 words when your harvest suddenly appears. Close your eyes right now and surrender every remaining worry into my loving care. Your future is completely secure in my hands. The heavy burdens you carried for so many painful years are lifted off your soul forever. And as the quiet darkness of the night surrounds your home, know that the Creator of the universe is watching over your breath with tender devotion. You will no longer lie awake staring at the ceiling in cold panic. You will no longer measure your true worth by the chaotic noise and opinion of the world. Sleep tonight in the absolute certainty that your Father has taken full command of your situation. Every door that needs to open is already turning on its hinges, and every locked supply is flowing directly into your hands. I bless your mind with divine clarity and unshakable rest tonight. I bless your body with deep healing, refreshed strength, and restored energy for the journey ahead. And I bless your entire lineage with the everlasting favor that flows from the throne of heaven. You are stepping into a glorious chapter where sorrow and sighing will flee away forever. Go forth into tomorrow with your head lifted high like the royal heir you truly are. The dry wilderness is behind you, and the open country of your rich inheritance is stretched out before your feet. Walk in my grace, live in my peace, and trust my timing with a quiet and joyful heart. You are deeply loved, eternally chosen, and forever protected in my embrace. Receive this final blessing over your life as you sink into deep rest. The darkness has passed away, and your bright morning of triumph has arrived. You are no longer defined by what you lost in the storm. You are defined by the glory and abundance that is filling your story today. Peace be still in your heart. Peace be still in your mind. And peace be still in your home. Express your heart's agreement to seal this sacred encounter by writing Amen in the comments right now. See the pinned comment below to stay connected with our faithful remnant as we walk together into this new season. Rest now, my beloved child, for my angels are guarding your sleep and your future is completely secure in my love.